On today's podcast, we talk about deal killers. Yes, the things that destroy real estate deals before they even get started. How to recognize them, how to avoid them, and how to make sure they don't come to bite you in the butt. Hey, what's up, Foreclosure Fix family? DJ Olojo here, and welcome to another episode of the Foreclosure Fix podcast, the best place online if you're facing foreclosure. I'm your host, and my goal is to help 1 million homeowners successfully navigate foreclosure. Now, if that mission resonates with you, you know what to do. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, and share our content with someone who you know can benefit, or grab them a copy of our latest book called The Foreclosure Fix, 12 Proven Steps to Beat the Bank, Escape Foreclosure, and Turn Your Property into a Profitable Asset. On today's podcast, we are talking about real estate deal killers. I recently did a post on social media, and I actually did 2 posts that got a lot of kind of commentary and feedback. One post was basically of a bathroom in a home where water was dripping down from the ceiling, and it had dripped down so long that it basically created a big cavity in the ceiling and a cavity along the wall, rendering the bathroom below it unusable and basically causing thousands of dollars in damage. There was mold in the bathroom and other things like that. And so I've gotten numerous comments on why did somebody let their house get to that stage? Or why would somebody just let water keep dripping down? And I'm telling you all, I can't make this stuff up. What I see in some of these houses, you would basically throw up if you saw it. Sometimes I actually have to wear a mask, and sometimes I leave a house and I'm just like gagging. So I've seen all type of crazy stuff. And unfortunately, the way some people live is really bad. And it's one of those situations where if you're ever in that situation where your living conditions are so poor, I want you to definitely get help, and I want you to leave that situation, because it's not good for your health. It's not good for anything, your kids' health. It's not good for what you all have going on. And so that being said, the other post that I made was of a home inspection that was going on, and basically the power got cut off. And when the power got cut off, the agent for the buyer basically accused the seller of, not paying the bill on the property. And basically it was Georgia Power who basically, I guess, cut the power off for a short amount of time because they were making some repairs in the area, but it just happened to be during the home inspection. And so those 2 things basically brought me to this point where I'm like, I need to basically do a podcast on the 5 top real estate deal killers, things that will kill your deal if you are in a transaction or if you're considering selling your house. These are the things you need to avoid, you need to stay away from, and you need to make sure you recognize, or your realtor or your agent and broker recognize in situations, because they can really kill your real estate deal. And so that's what we're diving into today. And they're 5, right? And these 5 are broad strokes. So obviously they're different idiosyncrasies that we can kind of drill down to in each category. But I want to give you the 5 big broad strokes. And so that way you can be mindful of them when you see them. If your house has some of these and you're thinking about selling your house, or if you are dealing with a potential buyer and they're showing you some of these signs, then you need to make sure that you are cognizant of how to deal with it, how to step back, how to avoid it, and how to move forward, so that way you can get free from your financial pressures of foreclosure. All right. The first thing I will tell you is the number 1 deal breaker I have seen are mold, mildew, and microscopic organisms, right? And we know that mold exists everywhere, right? Mold is in the air that we breathe in, and it's all about the concentration. So if you are in a situation where you have a property that has a molded out basement or a molded out crawl space, places where you can visibly see mold and things like that, those are deal killers. People always get really nervous when it comes to mold. And I've even seen litigation come back after the fact as it pertains to mold. And so having mold, having microscopic organisms, all around and stuff like that, can kill a deal so quick. Somebody could be in love with the house, find out that it has mold in the crawl space, and then just terminate the contract. And so getting mold professionally remediated can be very pricey. I have had it done numerous times, and I would tell you, I have never paid less than, $4,000. And I paid upwards of tens of thousands of dollars before as well. And so it's very expensive to get it done. And so if you're in a situation where you know your house has mold and you have a problem, and again, I'm not talking about like just a little bit of mildew where like, you know, you're taking a shower in the bathroom and like a little bit of mildew's building up on the ceiling or something like that because you're not using the vent fan or you're not opening the window. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like, you know, mold where it's like, you know, when you see it, like, you know, it's a fungus and you typically see it in damp, wet areas like crawl spaces, like basements that may not be ventilated well, or in bathrooms that are getting a lot of water, not just from the shower, but from like other sources like the roof or things like that. Those kill deals so fast. And so if you're facing that, keep that in mind that may be a big discount that a homeowner or an investor may want from you on the sale of the property because of the fact that that's a big issue and it has to be taken care of. And it's something that has liability for you and for them. Like if it's an investor buying your house and they're going to resell it or rent it, they can't leave that there because that makes them liable for it. They become culpable in that situation. And so as a result, you need to make sure that if you see that, you need to address it. Let them know that it's there, but also expect a discount of some sort to get that taken care of. And if you want, you can also get estimates of how much it's going to cost yourself. And so you can know exactly what that discount should be. And so you don't, put yourself in a bad position. And if you're working with a real estate professional, they should be able to help you with that. All right. So mold, mildew, and microscopic organisms, huge deal killer. Number one. Number two, foundation cracks and structural issues. This is another deal killer because foundation cracks, especially the ones that like are moving, not the ones that like, okay, we see a crack in the slab and things like that. And we see a crack in the driveway. That happens all the time. It's settlement. And if it's not like a huge void where like the crack has shifted down, 2-3 inches or something like that, then we just know it's just a regular settlement crack, concrete cracks. That's why you see them when they do sidewalks, they have the cuts in them. It's because they basically want to tell the concrete where to crack. And so as a result, concrete cracks are normal. But foundation cracks, especially when they are in the foundation, in an area where it may be difficult to repair or things like that, those kill deals so fast. And so please keep that in mind. If you have a foundation crack in your house that is a horizontal crack along the foundation wall, that could be a big issue. Or if you have structural issues where, your house, if you take a ball and you roll it from one side, it's moving like it's a NASCAR, right? You know what I mean? It's going down at 100 miles per hour. Be mindful that you will have to take a discount for those, and people who may see your house, love your house, and like your house may no longer be interested in purchasing the house once they see that, because they are expensive and they're difficult to fix. We've seen different kind of infomercials and commercials for all the different ways that people can like pressure jack driveways, or they can come in and make modifications to the house to shore it up, or if you have a deck that's pulling away from the house. All those things are normal things that happen in properties, but they're expensive. And so people get scared of them because when someone buys a house, they're spending a ton of money. They just want to move in. They're more worried about furniture placement than they are about, structural issues. People don't want to worry about that. They want to worry about the fun stuff, which is, what colors am I going to paint the wall, and what type of kitchen appliances I'm going to buy, and how am I going to entertain my friends when they come over. That's what they want to worry about. They don't want to worry about mold, mildew, structural issues, and foundation issues. And so those are the number two deal killers that I see. The next deal killer that I see are all other issues that can't easily be priced. And what I mean by can't easily be priced, if it's an issue where we can put a number on it, that typically doesn't kill a deal. It just becomes a negotiation issue. Like, so for example, if I don't like the way your kitchen looks, I can say, cool, it's going to cost me $10,000 or $15,000 to replace this kitchen. Easy peasy, right? I can put a number to it. It makes mathematical sense. However, when there are situations that I can't see and I can't really assess, then it kills the deal because I can't make an educated decision as a home buyer, as an investor, as a realtor helping my clients assess the entirety of the situation. I don't have a good gauge for how much it's going to cost to remedy the problem. And so basically, I don't have the ability to open up a blank checkbook. My client doesn't have the ability to open up a blank checkbook and say, I'm just going to pay for it at all costs. And so anytime you come into situations in real estate where you can't put a dollar amount to the repair, you will end up losing. Like, so for example, if you have a house and it has, termite damage, and the inspector comes in and says, okay, we see termites, we are going to come in and remediate this termite. It's going to cost this much, right? That's not a huge deal because there's a remediation plan, there's a price associated with it, and people can move forward. But if we come into the house and your house has snakes and there's no kind of real remedy for how to get rid of the snakes, and this is a true story that happened to one of my buddies, right? There's no real remedy to get rid of the snakes. Then what do you do? Right? There's not just, pay $5,000 to a wildlife professional and the snakes are gone. No, it's like, this is an issue. Like, you have snakes in the house. And so those type of situations kill deals so fast because there's not a dollar amount, right? And people are okay being uncomfortable for a very short amount of time. But when you can't get rid of the thing that's making them uncomfortable, it causes problems. And people don't want to step into that situation unnecessarily. And so anytime you can't easily price out what the issue is going to cost to fix, it's going to kill your deal. The number 4 thing that kills deals that I've seen in my career are title issues. Yes, title issues. I could love a house so much. It could be the place that I want to, raise my kids and have my family. And it could be, the thing I want more than anything in the world. But if I cannot get free, clear, marketable, insurable title on that property, then it's a deal killer, because I am not going to buy something that has an encumbered title just because it makes me feel good, because I am hindering my investment in the future. I am hurting myself, in the future to feel good now. And most people won't do that. And most professionals won't let you do that. And so as a result, anytime you have title issues on your property, it's a deal killer. And you may be saying, DJ, like, what are title issues? Help me out. Like, help me understand what that means. So anytime you do anything with property that is important, it's typically recorded. Like when you buy the property, a deed is recorded that puts it in your name. When your lender gives you a loan on the property, they record that with the county in which the property is in to let them know that, hey, I have a security interest on this property. If you pay your taxes, or if you don't pay your taxes, something is recorded to say, hey, you have a tax FIFA, or you have a tax lien against your property. If you do work to your property and you don't pay the vendor, that vendor may record a lien against the property saying, hey, you owe me money and you need to pay me, and it's accruing interest. And so anytime anything's happening with the property, something is recorded on the title. When you pay off your mortgage, it is recorded that you paid it off. And so that record of what's going on with the property is called the title. And a title issue or a title problem is basically saying that you cannot clear out the title for the new person buying it. And when I mean clear out the title, it means pay everybody off that needs to be paid, and make it so that that new person and their lender, if they're getting a lender, can have insurable title, which means a reputable title company will insure the title, saying that, hey, if anybody ever comes and claims that they have an ownership interest in this property, or anybody ever comes and says that you owe them money on this property or that work was not done, we will pay out the claim, or we will deal with the claim for you. And so that's what title issues are, and that's kind of how that process works. And so anytime you can't get a title insurance to give you a title policy, then that typically causes numerous red flags and makes it difficult to sell or trade or get out of a property. The last thing I have seen kill deals, and I probably should have made this number 1, because I guarantee that this has killed more deals than any of the other items combined, are difficult buyers and sellers, or difficult real estate agents. So I probably just said difficult people. Yes, difficult people kill more deals than anything. Some people are just hard to work with. I would tell you that as a professional who has worked with hundreds, if not thousands of different people in my career, some people are a joy to work with. Some people are just más o menos, and some people are a pain in the rear end to work with. I try to avoid people who are a pain, but every now and again, you just run across one of them and you got to deal with it. And it's okay if you're dealing with it in a situation where, you're a salaried employee and they work with you or work alongside you, or God forbid, they're your boss. You just got to sometimes, bear it. But in situations where you are an independent contractor, you are a free agent, you work with who you want to work with, when you want to work with them, then dealing with somebody who is a pain is a problem. Or if you are in a situation where you're buying a house and you have numerous options on what houses to buy, or you're selling a house and you have numerous people who you can sell to, dealing with somebody who's a pain in the butt is a problem. And so if you are a seller and you are that type of person where you want to renegotiate things that have been negotiated and signed off on, you want to change terms at the last minute, you want to cause problems where there shouldn't be any problems, then you are likely going to mess up your deal. If you are a buyer who wants to renegotiate things that have already been negotiated, you want to change terms at the last minute, you are likely going to damage or cause problems in your deal. If you're a real estate agent and you want to renegotiate things that have been negotiated, or you want to cause problems, you probably won't be a real estate agent for too long. At the end of the day, you can't do those things in real estate transactions. Yes, I think that you need to fight for your clients. Yes, I think you need to fight for yourself if you are in a real estate transaction. But at the end of the day, you need to do it with respect. You need to do it and be upfront. You need to not kind of be coy or sneaky or try to game the system. The best real estate transactions happen when both parties or all parties feel like they have won. And yes, you can have win-win-win situations where a buyer feels they paid an appropriate amount for the property, where the seller feels that they paid an appropriate amount for the property, where the realtors and brokers involved feel that they received an appropriate amount of compensation for the work that they did. That is a win-win-win-win-win. And when you want to have situations that are win-lose, where I am going to be the winner and the other person's going to lose, they're going to bow down to whatever I have, then those situations always end up bad. They end up in litigation. They end up in deals that don't transpire. They end up in a wasted time, wasted money, wasted resources. And most of all, they end up in hurt feelings. And as a result, if you are a difficult person, if you're somebody who just makes it hard for everybody else for no reason, I am talking to you. You are going to stop a good deal from transpiring. You're going to stop your blessing. You're going to block it. And so do not be that type of person. Make sure that when you go into a real estate transaction, you're going into it with genuine intentions, good motives, and ready and being prepared to move forward like a professional, because that's what real estate transactions are. It's a business. And yes, you want to work with people who you like to work with, but at the end of the day, it's a business. It's two people sitting down and saying, hey, we have mutually aligned interests and we're going to do a deal together. You get help from a whole bunch of different parties, but that's ultimately what a real estate transaction is. And so I've given you my 5 top deal killers, right? So if you see any of these in your transactions, if you see them kind of coming to head, make sure you address them quickly. Make sure you try to avoid them when possible, and so they don't kill your deal. That leads me to my favorite part of the podcast, which is our bow tie round. It's where you, our listeners, get to tie one on with your host, DJ Olojo. The B in bow tie round stands for my best advice for somebody facing foreclosure. The O stands for one thing I'm grateful for. And the W stands for my wildest or most interesting foreclosure-related story. My best advice for somebody in bow tie round, and in this bow tie round, is do not be a difficult person in general. Like, don't be a difficult person. It is easy to be a good person, but there's so many people who out there who just don't want to be good. And so I would tell you, try your best not to be difficult. And I'm not saying don't stand up for what you believe is right. I'm not saying, just sit in a corner and let people bulldoze you. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that be a person who is forthcoming, who is forthright, who is not trying to be shady or shisty, but just be somebody who says, hey, this is how I feel about the situation. What can we do about it? Versus waiting till everybody has the dust is settled and everything is good, and then coming back and saying, I don't like this deal we just brokered, right? You want to be forthcoming, you want to be forthright, and you want to just be honest. And that often gets us a lot further than when people are trying to be dishonest, deceptive, and just being mean. It just doesn't work. Like, we are not bullies. We are good people. And that is what the Foreclosure Fix family is all about. It's about helping other people, especially when they're in a time of need. That being said, the one thing I'm grateful for title insurance companies. I'm grateful for closing attorneys. I'm grateful for all the people who help real estate contracts get to the forefront so you don't have title issues, and that you don't have, so that you can trade property, that you can buy property and sell property and have clear and marketable and insurable title. I'm grateful for all those people. It's so important in what we do every day as real estate professionals, and I'm grateful that they exist. Although the system's not perfect, I'm still grateful that we have a system that we can rely on 99% of the time. My wildest or most interesting foreclosure-related story today is a sad story, in my opinion, because it's a story I've seen play out numerous times in different places and different scenarios over my career as a real estate investor and as, the leader of the Foreclosure Fix family. This is a story with a house that is set to go to foreclosure in probably about 2 weeks. It's going to be happening the first Tuesday of the month in September. And basically what happened here is that someone inherited a property. And unfortunately, this person has some substance abuse issues. And as a result, they are the sole heir of the property. But due to their substance abuse issues, they have not been able to do the things they need to do. They haven't been able to probate the estate. There is a will. All the documents are in place. Everything that I tell you all to do as it pertains to making sure that things are lined up, the parents did for this child. They have a will. They also have numerous other assets, totaling millions of dollars. And it's a sad story because due to this person's, dependency on and their addiction, they have not been able to probate the estate. They have not been able to sell any of the other properties to get any monetary compensation. And they are now in a situation where their home is facing foreclosure here in the next couple weeks. And I tell you this story because it's unfortunately a story I've seen play out before. And it just shows that in life, we are all battling things. This person has, and again, for full disclosure, I don't know if the dependency came after the parents died, and that's kind of what set them off and put them in that mode where they're super depressed and now they're medicating it with something else. I don't know if the dependency was something that existed, for many years. But at the end of the day, they are dependent on something. And so this is just an example to say that if you need help in any way, not just foreclosure help, but you need to go to AA or you need to get help from an outside source because you are addicted to something, please do it. I've had friends who have gone through similar situations where they have to take that time out. In the book, we talk about being seasonally selfish. And when we talk about that, we talk about it in the context of foreclosure and saying, hey, you need to take this time out to focus on yourself. But being seasonally selfish is not just about foreclosure. It's about any season in life where you need to take time out for yourself. And for this person who is facing this kind of situation, they need to be seasonally selfish. They need to go get the help they need. And if you know somebody who's facing foreclosure because they have other issues, you need to step in and help them. Help them move to that place they need to get to, because people who are chemically dependent on substances, it's an addiction. It's challenging and it's not easy to identify. And they can be functioning, they can be great, but it's an addiction nonetheless. And until they get the help that they need, they can't be the best versions of themselves. And they find themselves in situations like this where they are sitting on millions of dollars, but they can't access it because they can't even get themselves up to do the basic things they need to do, like probating an estate. And so my wildest or most interesting foreclosure-related story is one that really hurts my heart, because I'm praying that this person does not lose the property. I'm praying that they get their act together. I'm praying that they get the help they need. And if you're out there and you need help, we'll have some links in our show notes for different services out there that can help you, whether it's Alcoholics Anonymous, whether it's, foreclosure help. We'll throw those links in our show notes. And again, our goal is to help 1 million people successfully navigate foreclosure. But more than that, we want to help people all around. Our family, the Foreclosure Fix family, is all about helping others. And if you're facing any type of challenge in your life, and you're looking for other things to medicate you, there's only one thing that can help you. And I don't want to get on my soapbox, but I'm telling you, God is good, and that I serve a God who's awesome. And I want to tell you that if you're facing a challenge and you're looking like, hey, what's going on? My life is like just in shambles and it's just jacked up. And I'm sorry, because I get kind of emotional because I've seen it happen where people's lives are changed. And I just want to tell you that I love you, that God loves you, and that whatever you're going through in this season, that better things are coming your way. And that if you can connect with a group, if you can find your way to faith in God, all those things can put you on a better path to get to where you're going. And so on today's podcast, I just want to say that good things are coming your way. And if you need help in any way, shape, form, or you're dealing with substance abuse, please get some help. It is so imperative. As always, y'all, this concludes our podcast. I'm sorry because I'm a little bit thrown off, but hey, we're just real. We're transparent here. I'm a grown man who cries. So, at the end of the day, as always, I love you. God bless you. And if you like the content you're receiving, like, subscribe, share it. But most importantly, if you need help and you're dealing with substance abuse, please get the help you need, because it is not something that you should play around with. And I want you to have the best life possible. I want you to live a fulfilled life. And in my opinion, if I tell you my story, the only way you get there is by faith in Jesus. But then in addition to that, it's also by making sure that any barrier in your way, like substance abuse or like foreclosure, you can be free of. And I want you to live an abundant life. And to have life more abundantly is to not be riddled with the chains of addiction or financial catastrophe or just the drama of the world. And so I just want to tell you that I'm rooting for you, that we're here for you, and that good things are coming your way. Hey, I'll see you all soon. And thank you so much for listening. God bless you. The views and opinions on this podcast are for informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal advice. If you have a specific legal question, we highly recommend you contact a qualified legal professional.